El Paso, Texas, located right on the Mexican border, has been overrun by college students, but they're not on spring break. They're here to compete for a national championship. The USBC Intercollegiate Team Championships are next. They have come from all across the United States and brought their rabid fans with them. 32 teams reached El Paso, but only 4 remain. We are all set for a very unique experience. A convention center turned into a bowling center. And some of the best college bowlers in the States. And welcome inside the El Paso Convention Center. The energy you hear and you feel is exactly what it's been like in the 2010 USBC Intercollegiate Team Championships. And welcome, everybody. I'm Dave Lamont. Thank you very much for joining us. Just imagine this. 177 teams, 25 more than last year, and about 3,100 bowlers, or about 600 more than last year, lined up their first shots of the season with one goal in mind, to make it here to El Paso. 32 teams did that, 16 men and 16 women. And we are down to the final 4, 2 on each side. How'd they get there? Well, the men's bracket has no surprise to see Wichita State there in front. They're looking for their unprecedented 10th national championship and their 20th appearance in the finals. But they're facing a newbie at Calumet College of St. Joseph's. They've been here 4 years in this tournament, but this is the first time they've gone this far. It's an energetic team with nothing to lose. They take on the biggest name in men's collegiate bowling. In the women's bracket, an upset. Wichita State's top-seeded team, beaten by the very steady McKendree squad, which takes on a brand new school to college bowling out of Central Florida, Weber International. It's a high-scoring team with potential for big numbers, while McKendree is very steady and rarely makes mistakes. Now, I'm joined today by 2 people who love the sport of college bowling and who are highly successful in it in their day. Let's meet them. First off, the man, the glasses, the myth, the mullet. Who else but a one-time college player of the year, an outstanding college player who's gone on incredible success on the PBA Tour with a dozen titles, and we know number 13 is right around the corner. But he brought his vastly better half with him, a 2-time college bowler of the year at San Jose State, who's also gone on to multiple titles in the professional ranks, including the 2008 Queens. Please welcome my partners for today, Chris and Linda Barnes.
Thank you, Dave. We are here at the Convention Center in El Paso, and this is the greatest venue to ever hold the Collegiate National Finals. For the first time from start to finish, the finals were held in a USBC Championships venue in a convention center.
Yeah, and from the minute we walked into this building, you could feel the vibrations from the yelling and the cheering and the high-fiving. It's just been electric.
It's been fantastic. You and I both had an opportunity to bowl for a national title a few years back, but this is a tale of 2 cities today. Wichita State is going for their 3rd consecutive national title. Calumet, well, they've been here to the tournament 4 times. It's their first time bowling for a national title.
Yeah, and this is what they've worked so hard for all year long. They're going to put it on the line. This is going to be a great match.
Well, at least on paper, it looks like David and Goliath, and I get to pick first. I'm going with my alumnus at Wichita State and going with the Goliath. Not only the number 1 ranked team in the tournament, they went through undefeated. I think they might be the most talented men's collegiate team to ever bowl.
Yeah, well, I can't argue that point. What I can argue is that Calumet, while in existence for only 4 years, has qualified for the national finals all 4 times. This is first time in the TV finals, but they're going to go out there and do what their motto is, which is no quits. Now you need to get back up to the booth and do your job. We're going to talk a little bit about what it's like to do your last collegiate experience. So these kids have been working hard for 4 years at college bowling. A lot of them are seniors, and this is going to be their last team experience. There's nothing like the team experience where you have 4 or 5 players that are counting on you every single shot that you get up there. They're going to be emotional. They're going to have to stay focused on the task at hand and do the best that they can do and enjoy every minute of it. Now we're going to go back up to the booth to Dave and Chris.
And let's take a look at the coaches. Mike Kubacki from Calumet College of St. Joseph in the Chicagoland area, technically Whiting, Indiana. And here is his starting lineup. And keep an eye on the anchor bowler, Ryan Gleghorn, who led this team with an average just over 203. He was a top 5 finisher at the Blue and Gold. Meantime, Gordon Vatican has presided over all the success at Wichita State over 33 seasons. This is their 29th appearance in the championships, 20th final, and they're going for a 10th title and their 3rd in a row. And he is loaded with Josh Blanchard in the 4 and 9 frames and John Zerbinski Two seniors, strong anchors for the Shockers. Okay. And that kind of energy that you just heard there from the huddle, and no quits is the motto for Calumet. And Wichita State, Chris, what's going through the minds now, particularly that first bowler who's going to take the first shot to start the road to the national championship?
I think that's often the hardest one to take. Your nerves are going, you're really, adrenaline's really flowing through you, and it's hard to get settled in. And that will be the challenge for both of these teams early on, is to get settled in and go ahead and make some good shots.
And what makes this event so unique, and if you're used to watching, let's for example, see Chris bowl on TV or see his wife Linda bowl on television, the atmosphere here is a lot different. It is a very emotion-charged atmosphere, whereas you're a lone wolf. You're competing for you, but here, as you did when you played at Wichita State, you're competing for so much more than that, emotionally.
And while individually there is a lot of pressure on you, having 4, 5, and in some cases 8 other people, and sometimes everyone from home as well behind you, depending on how you look at it, can either be very beneficial or can be a lot more pressure.
So Daniel Locke will get the honor of starting the national championship game. You can't do any better than that.
No, that's a great, great opening shot.
Right back at you, Wichita. The numbers, by the way, represent the frames. So we'll see Jacob Peters again in the 6th frame. Okay, nobody's nervous, Chris.
Well, this is not these guys' first rodeo, that's for sure. Most of this team has bowled before.
Wichita State dominated in the early rounds. This is what we're looking at today. Best 2 out of 3 wins. It's called the Baker format. So you have 5 players to bowl 1 complete game, and each player gets 2 frames. That's why you see number 16, for example, bowls 1 and 6. And yes, you can substitute. Toby Kraus. And that got away from him.
Often a mistake. When you're a little bit nervous and you got things going, you'll get a little fast with your swing. And this ball will be inside a target. He's trying to hit about the 6th board. That's at 9 right there. It cuts right through the heart for the 4 count.
I'm getting a little advice from Coach Mike Kubacki about how to attack this. Is there a way to attack this?
Yes, you can make this spare. You have to cut the 3 pins, very thinly and slide it over into the 4. If you can do this, slide it into the 4, but you have to have enough angle for the ball to come through the back, and the ball has to still take out the 9. It's not easy to do, but it is possible.
And he'll get 4 out of that, so an open frame in the 2nd.
Drive that bus, baby, drive that bus.
And an early opportunity for the Shockers.
Well, this week the players are bowling on a 40-foot sport-compliant pattern. And you'll see many of the players, they've started out in practice playing up this 6, 7, 8 range. As they move in, they'll move into this part in around 14, 15.
Can Wichita take advantage? Yes, they can, of the open frame, and a double to begin for the Shockers. Mentioned that they were almost unstoppable in getting here. Lost only 2 games out of the 18 they bowled, and they have the early 24-pin advantage.
Well, they really haven't shown much weakness. They have a lot of rev rate, they have a lot of power players, but they've been so good at going up the lane early that there just hasn't been a place for the guys to attack them and their opponents to get an early lead.
And that got away. And with Brooklyn, it's still a strike. Not pretty, but it's a strike.
And this is nerves again. This is inside a target. This hits almost the 12th board. He has a little more power than the 2nd player. But again, one of the things that's impressive about this Calumet team is they play together. So far, 2 of these shots have gotten away.
Buried in the pocket. What a solid start for the 2-time defending champions. They haven't come close to even missing.
It speaks huge volumes that a guy like Ronnie Sparks, and as talented as he is, a Rookie of the Year, a contender for Player of the Year every year, can bowl in the 3-hole.
And that's what we mean when you referred to at the top of the broadcast about how deep and maybe the best team in college bowling history.
As much as that pains me to say.
Come on, boy.
Little light. And Calumet down that big 34. Now, there are a lot of schools here. McHenry, for example, in the women's championship, we'll see a little bit later on. They're not big-name universities or colleges. Calumet in Whiting, Indiana, they're called the Crimson Wave. It's very small enrollment, and they were founded by the Missionaries of the Precious Blood. They just got a gym on campus recently. And the easy cover that time.
I really like Sammy's game. I think one of the things that's understated about this Calumet team is how well they played together, particularly on the fresh.
You talk about playing together. What do you mean by that in this sport?
I mean, all of them playing the same trajectory through the front part of the lane, and with Calumet, that's pretty direct. Up around the 7th, 8th, 9th board, they're all within about 3 boards of each other. They can work off each other as the lanes move.
And Josh Blanchard is the first shocker to not strike. A senior, 2-time Junior USA team member, and a 2-time first-team All-American.
Well, this shot is inside a target, and you watch the ball coming right at you. He crossed about the 14th board there, but he got around a little bit slow. Hooked up high. He'll make a little move.
And he'll cover that. Wichita State in command here early. The open frame in the second really hurting Calumet.
Looking there at Mark Lewis, former Wichita State shocker Leslie Bone, wife of Parker Bone.
Ryan Gleghorn averaged over 203. And there's a very difficult 6-10 leave. Well, Ryan Gleghorn was asked what it would mean to bowl for a national championship.
It's been something that I've been wanting to do since 4 years ago when we first started our program at Cal College, and it would mean a great big deal for me. I'd be excited and ecstatic to make it there, just to have that opportunity.
Trying to go for that 410, he got it!
Yes!
This is not something that even a professional does every day.
No, less than a 10% chance of making this spare. Watch as he hits the left side of the 4-pin and hits it perfectly as it slides directly into the 10. Can't draw it up any better than that. Much needed boost for this Calumet team. They've come out after that initial strike a little nervous. A couple of shots inside a target. Looks like some moves, then they've thrown it a little too firm past to the next two.
John Zerbinski, the anchor for the Shockers. And he almost had the same leave. The 10-pin was late in dropping, so a solid 9 for another 2-time Team USA member. The depth on this Wichita State team, you've talked about it, is just remarkable.
Yes, Josh Blanchard has really made a splash the last couple of months with the European Tour and the high rollers. John Zerbinski is bowled with myself and the rest of a lot of the PBA guys on Team USA. He and Josh both need to make a move, though, in this right lane. Under the TV lights, the lanes will break down faster.
No problem there, and a very solid start for Wichita State. They open up with a turkey, and they add 2 spares on top of that, while Calumet has struggled to find the strike balls. There's your score after 5. The Shockers, looking for championship number 10, have the 34-pin advantage over the Crimson Wave of Calumet. The Shockers have been here before. It's Calumet's first time in the finals, and right now experience is trumping enthusiasm. The 2010 USBC Intercollegiate Team Championships on ESPN, brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of bowling. By Tony's Pizza, Tony's, giving you more. And Bowl.com, your online source for all things bowling. Log on to Bowl.com today. Let's take a look at the final rankings for the top 10. Of course, you're getting to watch the #1 team in Wichita State, Lindenwood. We saw a lot of them, Chris, and an impressively aggressive Lindenwood team. Calumet ranked #9, so you have a matchup of #1, #9, and the coach of the #1 team, Gordon Vatican, is with our Linda Barnes. Linda?
Well, Coach Vatican, here we are. You're in the position for a three-peat. Your team's after a really strong start. What are you going to tell them to keep them going?
Really trying to make this pretty simple, Linda. We're just trying to stay relaxed, have some fun, make good bowling shots, and really take this one shot at a time. We're really not too concerned about any other outcome other than what's right in front of us at the moment.
Well, let's get back to the bowling. Back to you, Dave.
All right, thank you, Linda. Again, they're trying for a third consecutive national championship. The only other school to do that, by the way, is Wichita State in 1993, 94, and 95. When did you leave Wichita State?
Just before that.
Okay, I'll be done with the cheap shots. But
Second 4 times. We did not fare very well in the, at that time, it was a 2-game Baker match. And led every year, and we're not able to finish the deal.
now you see more about Wichita State, formerly the Wheat Shockers. So if you ever see a little bit of wheat in their logo, that would explain why. Enrollment of 14,000. Former Fairmount College. And 4, 6, 7, 10.
Well, Danny was the one player who threw a really good opening shot. This one, though, is inside a target. Often you'll see on tour the toughest shot to throw is after that commercial break. But every frame in a Baker match is like a commercial break. It's basically one shot every 5 minutes. It's one of the most difficult formats to bowl as a player.
Block switching to a spare ball here. Going for it. So the senior from Hobart, Indiana, that's his participation for this game, a strike and that split. So Wichita can take a real stranglehold here with a strike. What do you do there, Chris?
That was a pitch out.
Just a bit outside as if Bob Uecker were here?
This is a little bit firm. My guess is, as well as his team communicates, he moved a little bit left from his first shot based off of Josh and John Zerbinski's shots, but then he missed his target about 2 boards to the right, and on this 40-foot sport-compliant pattern, it's not going to make it back from there.
Crosses over and covers the spares, so no mistakes in the Shockers column, while Calumet has recorded 2 open frames, and they've also converted a split, a low percentage 4-10 split. So they're hanging on for dear life. They've got to find some strikes right now. And Toby Krause struggled in his first try. He's bowled 6 300 games certified. A noticeable adjustment from his first shot. Better ball.
Much better shot. As you can see this time, he was up about the 6th board there, and that one made a big move down lane. It looked like it might even go light, but there's actually a lot of revolutions on this Calumet team, and their ability to be committed to playing the 6th, 7th, 8th board is what has led them to early victories in most of their matches.
Using a Chicago Cubs themed spare ball. Krause picks up that lead, but still Calumet trailing by, you see the 46 pins there.
No quits today. Not all weekend, not today. All right, just believe here.
Josh McBride.
Oh, it's a great pitch. Great pitch.
Well, whoever said that was right.
Had to be a senior.
Or the coach, maybe. Well, congratulations to Newman University's Derek Hartnell for being named our Player of the Year. With a 215.5 average this year, Derek is one of college bowling's rising stars. Stay tuned. We'll find out a little bit more about Derek later on in between matches. Calumet still seems to be searching for the right line here. They're just not getting the strikes they've needed. And Wichita, on the other hand, seems very comfortable, as you would guess, from a school that's so used to being in the championship.
Well, with Toby Cross bowling in the second position and Ryan here in the third, throwing shots that were so far off target, it gets difficult the next shot to go ahead and line up and get comfortable and throw a good one. Now that they've both thrown better shots, I would expect a lot more out of them in game 2.
Two strikes. I'll tell you what, the Wichita State team now with their 5th strike of the match.
Really good shots. Watch how end over end he is. Even with that great rev rate, he's up around 450. He's able to play about the 11th board. The end over end roll controls the break point at the end. And even though that shot looked like it wanted to creep high, by staying end over end, turns into a flush strike and another double for the Shockers.
And they're just about ready to post up this match. Sammy Krusek. It's like, if my math is right, it's like 186 is the best that Calumet is able to do. And Wichita State, another mark, I think, would probably
any pins on this ball will shut out the match.
Yep.
So these are basically lineup shots for both teams in the 9th and 10th frame. Josh here will move a little bit left from his first ball, which was a 4-pin.
You can see behind Josh, Mike Kubacki already gathering his team and starting to get it ready for that second game. Talking to them a little bit already. Smiles all around for the Shockers.
Good stroke out there. Good shot.
And they have just dominated so far here in El Paso.
Well, this is a perfect situation for them, and basically the nightmare scenario for Calumet. You have the team that's been the strongest in the field. You gave them an early lead, let them get comfortable, and they all got lined up quickly and hit the pocket on their first shots.
No problem. Blanchard smothers that one.
Talking to coaches and players, the lanes did break down a little bit faster with these TV lights, and with the lanes being stripped down here for about 3 days with no oil on them, they hooked a little bit more down lane. They were breaking down faster in practice than they had previously, so the players were all a little bit further left.
So Ryan Gleghorn will finish things up for Calumet. And he leaves a little extra work there too with a 210. So the Wichita State Shockers are 1 game away from a 3rd consecutive national championship and their 10th title in this, their 20th appearance in the finals. A remarkable record in collegiate bowling for the Wichita State Shockers, and those smiles indicate a confident team in front of a rabid group of Shockers fans at the Convention Center in El Paso. And Wichita State wins that first game 230. Wichita State moves ever closer to another national championship, their 3rd consecutive, with a dominating victory over Calumet at Turkey at the start made all the difference.
One more match
for a national championship.
Are we ready?
We can't be any more ready.
Let's go.
Let's go.
And you're looking inside the huddle of the team with a 1-0 advantage in this best out of 3 format at the USBC Intercollegiate Team Championships. And Linda Barnes is standing by with the head coach of Calumet, Mike Kubacki. Linda?
So, Coach K, here we are. You're bowling Wichita State. They came out of the gates really strong. Was there an intimidation factor at all that played in here?
Well, I definitely think their experience helped them, and we showed our rookiness in the moment. But we know that our wins have come down to us bowling well. And when we lose, it's generally because we don't perform. That game we didn't perform, but I think we're going to perform this game.
What are you going to do to change that?
Well, we took a look at some of our ball reactions, and we just recognized that we're really not hitting our spots right now. So it really just comes down to better shot making.
What Well, there you have it. The team that's theory is no quits. They're going to get back out there and do their best. Back to you, Dave.
All right, Linda, thank you much. Chris, what about the mental adjustment? I know you like to talk a lot and you understand the technical adjustments, but if you're Calumet, you just took a beating. How do you recover?
Well, ultimately, it's still just 1-0. So whether you lost by 2 or you lost by 50, it doesn't matter. The more interesting part will be Calumet broke the lanes down further to the right than Wichita State, playing into Wichita State's favor. Now Wichita State playing further left. I don't know if Calumet can make the adjustment. If it plays out that way, Calumet will probably go high their first couple shots on this lane.
There's Jacob Peters. You see what he did in the first match. And 10-pin just would not budge. Now, different lanes, of course. Obviously, everybody moving over a little bit. How much do you pay attention when you're watching what the other team's doing on the lane that you're about to bowl on?
It helps to pay attention to it because as those balls go down, each one takes a little bit of oil off the front of the lane. Will push a little bit more to the back of the lane as well. But the real tell is when you get to your first player up there and the guy that you know what he does and then you know what your moves are. This is where team communication really comes into play and why the best teams tend to win in the Baker format.
So a steady start for the Shockers. And we'll see if any changes also. Don't forget, coaches make changes during breaks. And see any changes in the lineups. Calumet will come back with their leadoff bowler, the lefty, Daniel Locke, a senior from Hobart, Indiana. As he did in game 1, he begins with a solid roll.
Well, and that's exactly what they had to do. You can't let Wichita State get back out in front of you again without putting up a fight. They can get an early double, put a little pressure on them, and change Wichita State's mental outlook on this from being just loose and getting a free wheel.
And Josh McBride with a couple of words to himself right before he sets up.
Coach Vatican said he had a fantastic national championship last year and has done the same again this year.
He's 3 for 3. Whatever he said to himself, he listened.
Well, there's all kinds of self-talk. I need to use some of his right there.
Well, you can talk to him when it's all over with. Here's a big shot for Toby Cross. Now, he's had a little trouble on the other lane. He gets a fresh lane that he hasn't bowled on before, and this is a big opportunity here for Calumet to put up a double. Mixed it up.
Nice shot. Saw earlier he played around the 6th board on this on the right lane. Now he has actually moved in a little bit, made a nice adjustment. These guys are ahead of the move. They're anticipating a little bit more friction. Great shot for a double.
Sophomore Ronnie Sparks got a little high.
Hot trouble.
And you know what? Sometimes the 6'10 looks pretty good to you.
Some 8s are much better than others. You see this one. This one goes high here. He could have left as bad as a 4-6. Pretty fortunate to only leave the 6'10. About 2 boards inside of target. He's been playing 11. That was about 13.
One-time collegiate rookie of the year. A junior Team USA member. Steady as she goes for the Shockers, but a little bit of an opening here for Calumet.
Well, it's the first time that Wichita State has been behind in this match.
Down by 10.
Come on!
4-pin left for Alberson. You see the speed, 18.6. Does that mean much to you?
Yeah, that's initial ball speed there. And he's a little bit softer than probably the average speed on some of these Wichita State players and even his 4th and 5th players on his team. But he also has made a nice adjustment. Has moved further left on the lane. They are ahead of that move where we thought Wichita State playing left might make it worse for them. They've actually made it better.
The Calumet got an early trouble in the first game, but in the second game they've been much steadier and actually have a slight advantage over the Shockers. But Wichita State brings out the cleanup hitters. They don't have just one, they have two.
They have about 4.
And Josh Blanchard's first strike of the championship match.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
When this kid has world-class talent. Watch as he crosses right through about the 15th and a half board. Light shaker, using all that power to mix him up down lane. Gets his first strike of this national championship match.
And that relentless style has powered Wichita State. They've had 19 games here in El Paso, and they've lost only 2. Big turn.
Boy, really nice shot. I really like Sammy's game. Got almost a European style a little bit to it, where he opens his shoulder more than the average player does. And the fact that this right lane hooks a little bit more helps him. Plays right into his strengths. Moved in now to about the 11th board. And you can see this coach loving the fact that his guys have showed up now. They're looking comfortable. Got control of the pocket again. And have turned this thing around and put some pressure on the Shockers.
Full swing last time, 8. Why don't you play 8 with your full swing?
Meantime, John Serpinski, he understands how to handle pressure. No problem for him. I mean, he's looking for a 3rd national championship along with some of his teammates, 3rd consecutive national championship to boot.
What a shot that was. And in this match, every time he has been called upon to close out a match, he's thrown the first strike in the 10th to win a game. He's thrown a double in the 10th to win another game. He threw a field goal strike to win by 1. He's been huge for the Shockers.
Leghorn in the anchor position. Got to get moving. His team now down a pin. Well, it's makeable, Chris, but let's be frank. I mean, your anchor bowler has got to come through in that situation.
Well, and he's a little bit confused. He went light twice on the other lane. Everybody has moved on this left lane, but he has a little higher rev rate than the rest of his team. When he moved in right into the middle of where all the Wichita State players were. Found more friction.
He's had a split every shot on his first ball. Going for this, he'll miss it. Picked up only the 6 and the 10. And a big hole on the scoreboard suddenly for Mike Kubacki and the Calumet College of St. Joseph Crimson Wave. Wichita State steady, has not had an open frame yet, but Calumet's open, and the 5th frame may have opened the door for the Shockers to march to a 10th national championship. Can the Crimson Wave come back? Or we'll all find out together.
Hi, I'm John Zabinski from Wichita State University. Welcome back to 2010 Intercollegiate Team National Championships.
Well, this is the El Paso Convention Center. Starting January 25th, they began to build for this and also the USBC Queens Championship. It opened for competition March 27th. It was built in 62 days. And on July 5th, it's going to be taken down in 7 days. 1,100 sheets of drywall, 4 miles of Cat 5 wire, enough wood and material to build 6 3-bedroom homes. And the Jumbotron you see being up there is a $4 million state-of-the-art Jumbotron, unlike any other in the country for bowling. And by the way, all the materials to be donated to charity. This is an engineering feat. And everybody involved here in El Paso should be proud, along with our crew. It's done a magnificent job setting up for the ITC Championships. And it's been magnificent so far, Chris Barnes, for Wichita State. They have a 17-pin lead. They turn to Jacob Peters.
Oh. All right.
A Houdini shot. Rolling the 2 forward. The Tommy Jones special. Gassed it by it just a little bit. Head pin off the wall, back across into the 4, and the 4 falls forward into the 2.
Just like he planned it.
Even Tommy couldn't do it that good.
And a similar break does not happen for Calumet and their leadoff bowler, Daniel Locke. I guess poise, if you're Calumet, now poise has got to be important. You're not dead completely, but you're wounded, but you can't lose your poise now.
You really got to hope that the breaks are going to even out here and that you can put a little bit of pressure on and that Wichita State will make a mistake.
Hasn't happened yet. That's a nice cover. When we talked with the Wichita State coach, Gordon Vatican, and so many national championships and such an amazing 33-year career, we asked him if it ever got old.
No, it really doesn't, because every team we have is different. You know, the personality of each team each year is completely different, and trying to create success out of that team or having them see the success they have as a group when we add the parts together and how much more successful they can be together than they are separately is uniquely each team and each year's legacy. So no, it never gets old. Seeing success in young athletes is what excites me as a coach.
Winning titles does too. Has he changed much over the years, Chris, when you played for him?
There's been changes. He doesn't stay in the middle for very long. He's fully committed to whatever ideas he has, and the program has moved in much different directions where he brings in a lot of guys and a lot of knowledge from around the country to fill in the places where he doesn't have as much knowledge himself, whether it's ball reps, whether it's some national coaches. And he himself has gotten to be, in some cases, more mellow, in some cases, more stern.
There it is, attaboy.
Perfectly covered by Josh McBride, a junior from Wichita. But you mentioned Wichita State has a player from Sweden, Kansas, Illinois, Australia. Zerbinski from New York. Josh Blanchard from California. Ronnie Sparks out of Michigan. Toby Krause from LaPorte, Indiana. Meantime, Calumet, all local talent. Indiana, the Chicagoland area, parts of Illinois.
It's a great bowling area in Chicago.
Krause looking down at his feet as if he was a little bit uncomfortable. Just did not seem comfortable with his slide at all.
Last time crossing through 9. See here immediately looking down, crosses about the 11th board.
Covered that nicely. That's never the spare that you talked about is one of the trickiest.
Yeah, when the lanes are not very easy, the 3-6-10 can be one of the toughest spares to make, and it's not one you want to have to shoot very often. Being down 27, they really need strikes from here on out.
Ronnie Sparks. He made a great adjustment because he did not throw a good ball his first time around in this game, but he comes back with a solid strike.
Yeah, just a much better physical shot online that time, pushing it out to about the 8th, 9th board down lane. Nice move through the pocket. Must strike situation.
And about as far away from strike as you can get.
Boy, what a bad break that is. The spot where you have to have a strike. Throws a really good shot.
The cameras are ready.
Did you watch it slice through the pins? The head pin will go to the wall in front of the 7 and in front of the 10.
Well, right now, Wichita State on a pace for 217. The best Calumet can do is 199. So Wichita State closing in on another national championship. Mark Scuderi has been chosen as the 2009-10 Collegiate Bowling Rookie of the Year. With a 209 average over 56 games, this Rochester Institute of Technology freshman finished first at the Shippensburg Classic with an amazing 246 average over 6 games. He had 2 top 5 finishes during the year. And the Shockers can just smell it now. Josh Blanchard, the senior, knows. A devastating double by the Shockers.
I got, Cal. That's what I got, Cal.
This is last collegiate bowling shot, right? Right there for Blanchard. If you're going to go out, it's the way to do it. Let's take a look at the men's champions in this past decade. West Texas A&M, which women's team was very competitive here in El Paso during the week. Western Illinois had their run. There's Wichita State in 03. They took a few years off there, and they've been into a tussle with Saginaw Valley State. And Wichita State defeated them in the championship last year, and they are on the verge of making it 3 in a row. And again, the only university to ever do that 3 in a row in the men's championship was Wichita State in 93, 94, and 95. This is Abdul Kabir, a junior from Chicago. May have been a little nervous under the lights there, I'm afraid.
A pretty brutal situation. The last shot he's thrown was about 45 minutes ago. Obviously not very loose. And this is just not a pattern where you can let it get away from you to the right.
You know, maybe a little tip from Josh Blanchard there.
This is a practice
Try
shot.
to relax him a little bit. Hey, you might as well laugh about it. You know, it happened and life goes on.
Well, and Coach K for Calumet mentioned that Abdul was really one of the emotional leaders for this team, and one of the guys that kept everybody loose and was able to be a calming influence too. Nice that he gets to throw a ball here in a national championship match.
And made the spare that everyone will talk about later. Good for him. That's a great comeback. And excellent sportsmanship, by the way, from the Wichita State bowlers. Well, this is it for John Serbinsky's college career as well. What a good one. You're going to run into him, aren't you?
Like I said, Bo within the last few years on Team USA. You know, he's a great guy. We call him a rookie there, but here he's the big dog.
And I think the emotion has hit him as they've done it. The Wichita State Shockers come to El Paso and achieve a 10th national championship. That's far ahead of anybody else in their 20th appearance in the finals. And they dominated this division. They played 20 games and they won 18 of them.
Really difficult to do with a Baker situation.
And the emotions beginning to kick in for the Shockers. They have done it in convincing fashion, sweeping Calumet, who bowled valiantly. But our congratulations to the Shockers of Wichita State. Coach Gordon Vatican had an outstanding lineup, and they delivered. No open frame for Wichita State, and they were online all night long. A dominating performance on the championship pair. Wichita State wins their 10th national championship. And here with the presentation of the Helmer Cup, we welcome the executive director of the USBC, Stu Upson. Stu, you've got a little work to do.
Coach, congratulations on winning yet another USBC Intercollegiate Team Championship. I'm proud to present you with the 2010 Helmer Cup to the Wichita State Shockers.
Thanks, Stu. Thank you.
All right, Coach, you've three-peated, and by the way, your only other school to three-peat is you, of course, as you know. You've won your 10th national championship. During the telecast, Chris Barnes mentioned he thinks this unit you have behind you right now might be the deepest and most talented team in the history of collegiate bowling. Do you agree?
Right now, I feel pretty good with that statement, I guess. You know, if we hadn't performed well, it might not work out quite like that, but it certainly was a great tournament for these guys. They've played well all year, and I think they played their best this tournament. We all know how competition goes. Sometimes you play good, sometimes you don't. This happened to be our 3 days, and we played very well, and I'm unbelievably proud of these guys.
Well, what is the Shocker secret? Why are you able to consistently not only make this tournament, but make the finals and win 10 times?
I think a lot of people think we just attract good bowlers, and I'm not kidding. We do, sure, but we really work these guys hard. I mean, they do a lot of things to get to this point. They do a ton of work in a lot of different areas, mentally, physically, ability-wise. classes. They work at this very hard. I don't think it's a big secret that hard work creates success, and I think that's what these guys are all about, is working hard.
Guys, is he right? Yeah! There you go, your national champions, the Wichita State Shockers, but still to come, more from El Paso, the women's championship, yet to be decided. You'll see it next. For the 10th time in their history, Wichita State Shockers have won the Intercollegiate Bowling Championship. Did it in an impressive fashion, sweeping Calumet, who just couldn't get the breaks here in El Paso. A 10th championship for the remarkable Wichita State Shockers. The Helmer Cup going to a familiar place in Wichita, Kansas. But in the women's final, it's going to go somewhere where it's never been before. And Linda Barnes, this final between Weber and McKendree ought to be fascinating. Who do you like?
Well, I think Weber National's a strong team physically. I think McKendree is fresher. They did beat Wichita State twice, and they're here to show you what they got. Up to you, Dave.
You get a look at Randy Stoughton, who has taken Weber in their inaugural season right to the championship final. And should Weber win, they'll be the second school in collegiate bowling history to win the national championship in their first appearance. Wichita State was the other. As you take a look at their lineup, and keep an eye out for Lori Hankin, the left-hander. So steady, so dangerous, and a great closer. Meantime, for Gary White, the McKendree coach in his 9th season. And the first shot for the Women's National Championship. Perfectly thrown, and a great start for Weber International. Chris, this is a team that is very capable of its very high score.
Absolutely. You know, my wife picked McKendree as her favorite, but Weber, I think, is my favorite. And it really will hinge, I believe, on Ashley Galante. She's been on Junior Team USA a few times. She was on a national championship team for Pikeville 2 years ago. She's really struggled, but she looked like she got her rhythm back. And if she starts striking, this Weber team is really dangerous.
Randy Brankley. And gets a little favorable kick on the 10-pin. So we're even up.
Great shots right out of the gate. No nerves going for these two leadoff bowlers.
Weber International out of Babson Park, Florida, about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on who's driving, away from Orlando. That cross is over and could have been a lot worse. Instead, just the 6-pin standing for Jocelyn Leon.
Relatively easy spare, although spares have given this Weber team a little bit of trouble throughout this competition. As many strikes as they've thrown, they've been extended a lot more games than McKendree has been.
Well, that's the interesting factor here. McKendree only had to play 27 games and going 4-0. While Weber had to play 41 games. So maybe you haven't heard of McKendree University prior to right now. Well, the Bearcats out of Lebanon, Illinois. That's in the Chicagoland area. Founded in 1828. Very small enrollment, but look at that at the bottom. How about that as the oldest college in the great state of Illinois? This is their 8th visit to the Nationals, by the way. And a powerful start for McKendree to open with a double.
Boy, a nice shot there. Mary has a tendency to push it away a little bit to the right, but she gets it back in line most of the time. Really good at putting it on line, and that's a great start for this McKendree team. I think they had to come out early and often. I think they're the best team in this tournament on the fresh.
Deep breath for Katie Thornton, freshman. And mixes them up. Well, Chris, what are we rolling on in this match?
Well, this week, all the competitors are playing on a 40-foot long sport-compliant condition. The men earlier played closer out to this range, out around 5, 6, 7, 8. The ladies will play around the 11th, 12th board and keep it pretty square to the pocket, much like you saw Ronnie Sparks play in the opening match.
That one got away.
All right. Hey.
So 1-2-7 left.
Well, and as we just talked about, the girls are playing around 10, 11. This one crosses around 8. And way wide right, leaving a somewhat difficult 1-2-7. There are a lot of ways to make this, but there are also as many to miss it.
This is there are many ways to pronounce Danielle's last name.
Well, if you actually pronounce every letter, it comes out pretty good. Bella Bradich. Not one of my top 3 ways to make that, but again, another way to make it.
Hey, you know what? That little mark goes up for McHenry and gives them a 7-pin lead. What would you like to see her make?
Well, she ideally would cross over, but she actually hits flush pocket, and now she'll be lined up her second time up.
We're looking at the Baker format. And she should be happy.
Well, and she is the emotional catalyst for this team.
And here's the secret, or maybe not so secret, weapon for Weber, Ashley Galante.
Go left. Go left. Yeah.
And crosses over to Brooklyn and gets the strike.
The key, Brooklyn, for the double.
Ashley Galante, a national champion when she was in Pikeville a couple of years ago.
And this ball should be coming at us, but instead it's well left of target. Never had a chance to go to the right side of the head pin. That's the head pin going back, rolling off the 5-pin and the 9 for a key double and the lead.
By 3. For McHenry, they'll turn to Christina Young, their lone senior on the team. And she'll have the 2-8 to stare at. Young considers herself kind of the team mother. As the only senior, she feels like she's the one that somebody needs to talking to. She'll do it, but she also is very quick to credit her teammates that they'll do it for her if she needs to be picked up.
Well, where Danielle was the emotional leader, I think Tina is like you said, the real leader and the captain of this team. She's the centering force, and a great characteristic of a good leader is the giving credit to your teammates. She has thrown a lot of great shots this week. And what she'll have to do here is she'll have to hit the inside right of the 2-pin, and where the ball hitting both pins ideally. She's a little bit right, but it's got to hurry.
So an open for McHenry has opened the door for Weber International and given them a 16-pin lead. So it may be one of those times where her teammates have to pick her up after that. And another weapon for Weber is Haley Beavis, a grad student actually from Southampton, England. And if she gets going, she is like Reggie Miller at the foul line in the last minute of a game.
She's been unbelievable this tournament. She's struck in the 10th no less than 7 times to win games for Weber International.
Come on, ball. Come on, ball. Careful.
We're used to that sight. We've been watching her for 2 days, and it's rare to not see her strike.
And that's what makes Ashley such a key there. They had a strike in the 3rd. Ashley does get the lucky crossover strike in the 4th, and now it's turned into a triple. And instead of being 4 or 5 pins ahead, now they're up by 26.
And that lead went from 3 to 26 rapidly.
Those are
So now Lori Hankin. It's a big ball here. Lori Hankin, a sophomore out of Oregon City. It's a long way to go from Oregon City to Lebanon to El Paso, but Lori Hankin comes up with a big strike the Bearcats had to have. But right now it's Weber International in front by 26. Weber International working on 3 in a row and taking advantage of a mistake by McKendry in the 4th, leads Game 1 of the USBC Intercollegiate Team Championships in the women's division by 26 pins. Now, normally we would turn to Linda Barnes and have Linda interview one of the coaches, but Linda, this is a little bit different. Who's down there with you?
Yeah, I'm down here with Brittany Mari, who's a late transfer student, so she's not eligible to bowl in this event. But when I talked to the girls, they all said that she's the one that they go to when they need some support. Brittany, your team's ahead. What are you going to tell them to keep on that roll?
All we got to do is fill frames and have fun. We're doing awesome, and the girls are really excited. We just need to relax and play our game and have fun.
There you have it, Dave. Back to the competition.
And she's got coach's voice. She's got that hoarse voice that coaches get when they yell too much. Now here's Weber International. Babson Park, you mentioned maybe a few minutes ago, is about 45 minutes away from Orlando to the sort of the south and west of there. They're the Warriors. The school founded in 1927. That is a tiny enrollment, obviously, and Roger Babson, the entrepreneur, founded it, and this is their first year in collegiate bowling. Jessica Santiago, who struck earlier. 2 for 2. No problem for Jessica, and 4 in a row. And this is the good Weber, Chris.
Yeah, we've seen Jekyll and Hyde out of them. They've shot some really big scores and shot some low ones, but when they get going, they put the strikes together in bunches. McKendry may need all of that turtle right now.
Yep. A lot of concentration for Brandy Branca. That's going to cross over and carry. Not pretty. Makes my partner flinch just a little bit when he sees that, but it's still a strike.
And you'll see the shot from Brandy, and she just rolls over the top, but her arm gets a little bit away from her ankle, but that's caused by her shoulder leading first. But they needed a big break. They needed a way to get back in this match. That double pulls them back to 26, gives them a little momentum back, and kind of evens up the good break, Brad break thing.
And Yoselin will miss the head pin and leave 1, 2, 8, 10. So the first really challenging frame here for Weber.
Yes, this will be a difficult make. She'll have to cross over, hit the left side of the head pin, and try and carom that over into the 10, either directly or off the sidewall. Ideally, you want to hit it right around here, send it straight in, or if not, hit it thin enough to go in and back off the wall. Very close.
Well, the lead dropped from 26 to 22, but that is a big lift for the Lady Warriors.
Huge momentum swings. The other team's counting on an open here. Head pin right off the sidewall. Clips the 10, no problem. And that's almost the same as throwing a strike.
Well, you and I have talked off the air quite a bit about momentum in this format, with this Baker format. That's just a stiff 4-pin right there. So how do you think it works in a team format in bowling? I mean, obviously you've had times where you felt a lot of momentum individually when you're on a roll. How does it work in the team format?
Well, it's the funniest thing when you're not throwing a shot but once every 5 minutes, that your emotions can go up and then down so much without ever throwing a shot. Somebody misses a single pin spare, it deflates the whole atmosphere around the team. You go to key Brooklyn for a double and everybody's pumped up and you got a great break.
Look out. Would have made the split had the 10-pin been standing there. Well, when you join a USBC certified youth league, all youth bowlers receive this cool USBC youth jersey. Becoming a member also gives you a certified average, access to tournaments and scholarships, and lots of great awards. Get in the game. For more information, log on to bowl.com or call 1-800-514-BOWL. Katie Thornton.
Cross.
You can hear rooting for the cross. Got it. And she's just about as surprised as anybody in the building, and might as well celebrate it.
that the Icky shuffle?
The Icky shuffle was more side to side. She was leaning at about a 45-degree angle on that. That may be the Katie shuffle. See, Icky would have turned left. That she did a little bit there. You want to telestrate that? But it's serious business for McKendry and for Danielle. Got high.
Well, last time you saw her cross at the 6th board at the Arrows. This one crosses almost the 11th board. Somewhere in between there is what she's looking for. Ideally, most of her teammates are on the 8th or 9th board. Again, making the 610 here keeps her team somewhat in it, but down 25. I really thought their strength was on the fresh, but there's been a few nerves and some shots have gotten away.
No nerves on that, a solid cover. But you can see the lead for Weber. A very healthy 25 pins as we get ready for the 9th frame.
Let it roll now. Let it roll.
Weber on a pace for 226. And the best McHenry can do is 221. And that's if all goes perfectly to plan.
Interesting to see how Ashley reacts to her first shot.
Hold.
That's never fun because you took your 3-6-10 that you hate and added the 9-pin behind it.
This is the toughest spare in bowling that's not a split. And on this pattern where they're a little bit slick on the gutter, there's not a lot of help out there.
Let's do it.
She's going to have to get it towards the gutter and get it to come in from this angle where the ball goes between the 3 and the 6 and hits the 9 and sending everything else down the row.
She goes to the spare ball, a dragon. Perfect.
Well, you see a few guys do that, and when the lanes are tough and you can't get it off the gutter, that's the other option, is you throw it straight back and just take everything back. But you have to be incredibly accurate to make this work, and she throws it perfectly. It's the 3-pin just right center, and she should be happy. That's an excellent spare.
So now the best, if everything goes right for Weber, they could go to 236. McKendry's still hoping to get to that 221 mark, and they'll have to strike out to do it. And Tina Young gets the opportunity here.
They'll have to strike out to force Weber to throw a double in the 10th.
She had an open in her first appearance. Not that time. That was a nice kick on the 10 and a little jolt for McKendry.
And that strike sets it up where they can shoot 221. Actually, what they've done there is make Weber mark in the 10th. They will have to fill 16 pins in the 10th frame to shut out McKendry.
You channeling your inner Nelson Burton Jr. there?
Well, if there's one person in this field that I'd want to step up and have to throw a shot, Haley has been it.
Come on,
and evidently I did channel my Bo Burton there because I sufficiently jinxed her. And
that's a makeable spare, however.
In the first frame, she hit the 9th board, and this one was well inside of that. Actually, she hit the 6th board the first time. That was the 9th board on that particular shot. Lucky to leave the 6-10. A 6 count there would have made things much more difficult for both the spare and the count.
2, baby.
2.
All right, she knows she has that.
Yeah, girl. Good spare. Come on.
Now 8 more pins, and Weber will lock up game 1. Now, while you're playing, how much scorekeeping are you doing?
Here we go.
the math in your head?
I think very often most players know the score, and they know she knows exactly what she needs right now.
Roll it to the pocket. That's all you got to do.
Everyone talks about clearing it and just keeping it simple and hitting a target, and that is ideally what you want to do here. With all the distractions, it can be very difficult in this situation.
8 pins, and Weber will win the game. 9 will do just fine.
Much better shot, a little slow off her hand. But a much better shot, leaving only the 6 pin, and shuts out McKendry with that 9 count. And the shot hits the 7th board, just 1 board inside of that perfect shot she threw in the 5th frame. You see her teammates, you heard early Brittany Murray in the background. She knew it was a good shot. And there's the 1-0 lead.
And exuberant high-fiving all the way around. Weber International, in their first year in collegiate bowling, stands 1 game away from winning a national championship and taking the Helmer Cup to Babson Park, Florida. Can McKendry come back? Find out when we return. Beauty of El Paso, Texas on display. We've had great weather, but the beauty of El Paso, Texas on display. We've had some wonderful weather, and of course the weather inside the El Paso Convention Center has been hot, and hot for the Weber International Lady Warriors, who are 1 step closer to their first intercollegiate championship, defeating McKendry 223-189. So that puts Coach Gary White in a bit of a hole, and he joins our Linda Barnes right now.
Well, Coach, I know that slow and steady is your philosophy here, and I know you got a turtle down there for good luck. But is that the way you guys wanted to start that match?
Well, no, we played well there. It's not bad. We had a couple of shots that got away from us, but there were a couple of Brooklyns. They carried it, kind of changed the complexion of the game. Our turtle is really kind of our stress reliever, so I think we're going to be okay. We're fairly in play right now, and just a couple breaks our way, that game could have turned around. So we feel pretty good. We're going to give it a chance.
All right. Well, good luck, Coach. Back to you guys.
Thank you.
All right, Linda, thank you very much. You made a good point there, Chris. I mean, a couple of funky strikes that carried for Weber really did help.
Yeah, with Weber having 2 Brooklyns, and one of them was a bridge in between strikes, it turned out to be a huge deal. McKendry did have 1 Brooklyn themselves that was also for a double. They weren't able to capitalize on it with another one, but it's still 20 pins the other way, which made a huge difference when it came down to the 9th and 10th frame.
We talked about the 2 styles of this team, and I think Linda's reference to McKendry is slow and steady. Their team that don't make a lot of big mistakes. Weber can be very explosive. On the other hand, they have also shown to be error prone when they aren't striking. And we really, I think what's cool about this, Chris, we've had enough time to look at these teams. We don't know what Weber team is going to come out in game 2.
Well, it's much like the cultural flair within the team itself. They have so much international flavor that it comes out in not only in how they interact, but how they score as well.
Yeah, out of the starting 5 for Randy Stoughton, you've got Jessica Santiago from Puerto Rico and 2 other players from outside the mainland. Meantime, Randy Branca has been perfect. Does not get the carry there. That could have been a disaster. She winds up with instead a 6-10 to get things underway for McKendry. McKendry opened up by defeating Florida State and Lindenwood, and that was a grinder. That took 8 games. In the best of 7, there was a tie, so each team received a half point. And then defeated Wichita State, the number 1 seed, and the team most everybody figured would make the championship at the least. They defeated them twice. So you can't say that McKendry didn't earn their way to this championship.
Nice job, baby. Nice job. Hey, come on,
And Randy Stoughton was asked
on the ground.
about Weber. How did your team come together?
They're just watching them grow as people and watching the different cultures melt together to be one has been a real learning experience for me. It didn't start off very smoothly at the beginning of the year. We certainly had a lot of issues with personalities, again, dealing with different countries and different cultures and trying to understand who's joking when they say something versus being sincere or being real. And we had a few problems with that personality-wise. And in January, we brought in, a couple girls came to the team and one girl left. And when that happened, the whole personality changed on our team. And starting in February, it's been a gradual rise to what you just saw.
So an even start to our match after a spare for each team. We mentioned international flavor. You had Jessica Santiago, we just saw from Puerto Rico. Also, Jocelyn Leon from Puerto Rico, and the anchor bowler, Haley Beavis from Southampton, England. And also on their roster is a Brazilian, Stephanie Martins.
He's had significant playing time during this tournament, and actually only sat the last few games and now the national championship.
Mary Bellis. It looked for a second like that 5-pin was headed over to take out the 7, and it was interrupted.
That was a good shot, baby.
It was a good shot. I agree with whoever said that.
As you can see it coming at us. Team very attentive behind there, knew it was a good shot. 5 was over there. The head pin comes off the wall and throws a blocker at it. And bit of an unfortunate 7-pin on a pretty good shot.
Now to compare hometowns and all that, from McKendree, from Lebanon, Illinois, all of their players on the roster from Illinois except for Lori Hankin, their anchor bowler, who came from Oregon City. And that looks out. Now you lost that one right away. And that's the one thing McKendree has avoided, is big mistakes like that to get to this championship game.
The Turtles not a bad mascot. They played pretty low key. Slow and steady wins the race. They throw a lot of shots. They play the same part of the lane, and they make spares. Opens are tough for them because they don't throw as many strikes as this Weber team does.
And that leaves you a bucket. And that's not your least favorite spare? That's a tough one too.
Yeah, this is lost off the bottom of her hand. It's actually pretty well on target, but not rolled nearly as well. Comes up light, head pin goes around everything, knocking out the 7 for the bucket. There's a couple ways you can shoot this. You can shoot it with a spare ball and throw it straight. Or the way it looks like she's going to shoot, she's going to move about 4 boards right with her feet, keeping her target the same, and that should get the ball to cross over.
And she did exactly that. We should take a moment, by the way, to explain the numbers on the jersey signify the frames the bowlers will compete in. So you see a 2-7 for Jocelyn. That means the 2nd and 7th frames.
As you can see, this is exactly the same shuttle she threw at the washout. She moves her feet 4 boards, targets the same place at the arrows, releases, has a much stronger release on that one. It rolls across, picks up the spare very easily, actually.
But the low count doesn't punish McKendree too badly for the open frame. Now Bella Bradich is the head pin. And she has the 1, 2, 4, 8 to convert as we show you women's champions from this past decade. And you see it, Morehead State had a great start at the turn of the century. Nebraska, who had a men's team here, but not their women's team in 2001. Central Missouri State. Pikeville picks up 2 titles in the decade, in 04 and in 08. And Wichita State sandwiched around that Pikeville title 07, 09. Wichita State made the Final 4, but could not make to the championship matches. This basically has to be a pocket hit.
Yes!
It is.
Yes, Bear! Nice job. Nice job. Nice job.
Much better shot there. She got it to cross over. Hitting the left side of the head pin, the ball takes out basically everything except the 4 pin.
Just keep it clean.
That's Lori Hankin, the anchor bowler, talking to Gary White. Maybe he noticed something about the lanes, passing along to his anchor. Katie Thornton, 2 strikes, 2 dances. We'll see what she does here if she strikes. 3-10.
Well, this shot's a little bit inside of target. Her shoulder gets going forward fast, rolls over the top of it a little bit. Knocks the 6-pin out of the middle of that spare for the 3-10. She'll have to hit the right side of this 3-pin and have the ball hit both pins.
The baby split. That's well done. That's exactly as you drew it up. So no strikes and no dance, by the way. She doesn't do dances for spares, apparently. But no strikes so far in this second match.
Perfect execution. Ball hits the right side of the 3-pin, deflects right in the 10. And she knew it pretty early down the lane. See the McKendree player looking over the shoulder, hoping maybe for a little bit of help.
But still only 6 pins behind, and that's with an open frame because Weber's had a couple of low counts off of spares. So Tina Young, team leader, and their lone senior. Like she was trying not to fall off a cliff there, but when she finished on her follow through.
A little bit off balance. I thought it was very interesting. The guys broke down the lanes at 7-8, and the girls all broke the lanes down around 11-12. And it should be the opposite generally.
Why do you think that is?
Well, that's where they're comfortable playing.
1-1's going to get the ball on over there, right? Oh, you want those part? Okay, you want those spare shot at it? Okay.
See, they're discussing strategy on how to shoot this spare, and at the 2-5, it's an easy spare 2-chop. I agree with Tina. The better way to shoot this is with the spare ball and decreasing the chances of taking the 2-pin right straight back.
So that is a football inside that bowling ball.
But going back to it, generally speaking, the lower your rev rate is, the further right in the lane you would like to play. And it seems completely opposite that the lower rev rate is actually started playing the lanes deeper than the higher rev rate. And it goes back to a little bit of comfort, particularly from the McKendree team. They like playing the track. They're good from that part of the lane. But unfortunately now under the lights, they're getting a little bit tighter down lane. Their ball is getting to the 3-pin, and it's not making it quite up the hill. You're seeing a lot of 2-pin combinations from them right now.
Ashley Galante checking her form one last time before she steps up. You see her mouth come on to herself.
Go, recover.
And she misses the head pin and gets that 9 tapped out of there. Pardon me, the 8 tapped out of there. So she just has the 1-2-4.
Going Brooklyn here.
And this is a little bit what we saw earlier today. She's just really out of rhythm, and she's trying to force the ball to go to the right after she's missed left a couple of times already. This shot crosses about 3 boards right at target. Leaving the 1-2-4 is probably a bonus. If she'd thrown it a little bit better, a washout or a 2-10 would have been in play.
It's your favorite shot. It's just going Brooklyn. Your favorite shot.
See it first. See it first.
Come on now. Let's do it.
Let it roll.
Pace here, very deliberate, as we're seeing all spares here and a lot of concentration going into these shots.
Well, and when you're a little bit lost and you're uncomfortable, it's tough to get up there and pull the trigger sometimes. That's better. Oof. That one almost got away.
As we have commented on during the program, many college bowlers have done great things on the pro tours, and this year we saw one of the best examples. Congratulations to 2-time collegiate MVP from Morehead State, Kelly Kulick, who became the first woman to win a title on the PBA Tour. And it wasn't just any tournament, it was the 2010 Tournament of Champions. Now, let me see. Kelly Kulick, and who's the runner-up?
Yeah, I'd like to thank our production staff for throwing that one in there. Yeah, I had a good seat for that show.
Well, you know what? I think more people will remember that she won because it was a pretty significant achievement.
it was a fantastic game and a fantastic week that she had. She was really, really good.
And a bucket left there by Lori Hankins, so neither team able to seize anything in this low-scoring start.
And what you're seeing from McKendree pretty consistently is the left lane is tighter down lane, and you're having a lot of two-pin combinations and light pocket shots, the ones that have gotten to the pocket. On the opposite side, Weber is going high more often than not when they've been able to keep it online.
And none of these are easy spares either, Chris. These are spares that require, that's perfectly done. We haven't had a lot of little, 10 pins or 7 pins or 4 pins left in this match.
No, there's no 4-count spares that I know of that are easy spares. So when you're not hitting the pocket, you're not lined up very well, everything gets a little more difficult.
One more time.
So Haley Beavis, who has been largely money for Weber International, a school out of Central Florida, throughout the tournament. Will she be the one to throw the first strike in game number 2 with Weber up already 1-0? No problem for Haley Beavis, the first strike of the match, and Weber goes up by 9. So Weber International has a 9-pin lead halfway through this second match. And can they close it out and take their first ever championship? Or will McKendree break through and force a third game?
Hi, I'm Haley Beavis from Weber International University. Welcome back to 2010 USBC Intercollegiate Team Championships from the El Paso Convention Center in El Paso, Texas.
And what a remarkable job they did in getting this convention center ready for this wonderful event, the USBC Intercollegiate Team Championships. Haley's team leads by 9 halfway through. Linda Barnes is standing by with the coach, Randy Stoughton. Linda?
So, Randy, we know your team had some personality problems early in the year. They seem to have recovered nicely from that. They're doing dances. They're having a great time. Why do you feel that's so important for them to do?
Well, I think it keeps them loose, and it keeps them together as a team. And they really, really enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun, and the guys love it as well, the guys' teams. And our guys' team is really enthusiastic, so it's just kind of rubbed off on the ladies as well.
Well, we really enjoy watching them. Good luck, Coach. Back to you, Dave.
They've done well. Thank you, Linda, very, very much. All right, McKendree has not struck in this particular match, Chris Barnes, and so the question, how do they adjust? They're back. It's almost starting the game over again. Here's your leadoff bowler now bowling in the 6th position. What do they have to do?
Basically, there's 2 ways to go about it now. You can throw it a little bit slower. That's not really part of their adjustments as I've seen throughout the week. I think the move is to move a board to a board and a half right, keep their targets the same, and actually be able to be a little more aggressive.
Any of that pay off? They cross for Brooklyn, and they'll take it. Their first strike may not have been the way you draw it up. I think that's the second time that Brandy has crossed over for Brooklyn and for the strike. Now, this is not a poll. There's no voting involved here. You earn your way to the women's and men's top 10. Central Florida came in here number 1. Wichita State number 2. They were defeated by McKendree. See McKendree ranked number 8. And Weber International a solid 4. Again, this is their first year of intercollegiate bowling. And you can hear that little oh when that ball was put down
Come on now, number 2, baby, number 2.
by Jessica Santiago.
Well, she'd thrown 3 great shots up to this point. This ball is just a little bit inside a target. Tell from her reaction she'd fallen off of it a little bit. Knew it was inside by about a board and a half. Would have been a nice opportunity to go up by 19. Still up by 9 on the spare.
And no problem on the conversion. So the lead remains 9.
McKendree's coach talked about Weber getting some good breaks in that first match on some Brooklyns. They have a Brooklyn up there right now. Let's see if they can throw a good shot behind it and take advantage.
The strike will give them the lead. And Mary Bellis has one of those on it. She's done a little bit of everything.
She's actually been the most lined up of all the players on the McKendree team so far.
That crosses over, and a gang around the 10 pin. The 10 pin's stiff and will not move. So.
Mary has a tendency to push a little bit right, got up stuck behind her, and then she rotated her shoulders around, got a little bit left early, and almost got the little bulldozer shot, pushed it right down the line, but
yeah, a lot of traffic around that 10 pin, but it wouldn't budge. I thought it was interesting. You saw Coach Gary White in the background talking to his next bowler, Daniela Belabradich, who was bowling in the 3rd and 8th frame. Look out, and left it open on the 10 pin. And that is the 2nd time, Chris, in this match McHenry has missed a single pin spare.
Very unusual for this team. Very unusual for Mary to miss 2 single pin spares.
And you see what happened with the lead. It went from 9 to 21 for Weber. And a gift here for Jocelyn Leon. That's high, and she is fortunate there was nothing on the left side of the lane there. She has a 3-6-10.
Cover it up. All you got to do is cover it up.
Well, and once again, it's just inside a target here, just helping it a little bit. Once that ball goes by the head pin once, it gets awfully hard the next time around to let it go clean and let it get on and project it towards your target.
Come on. You got it. Just like table.
Really not much anybody can tell her how to. She's had this spare before, so nobody in her ear to tell her what to do here.
She's gone to a plastic ball. Should play pretty direct at this, hitting the right side of the 3 pin.
Hard way, hard way.
Yes, it was. Well, the best women bowlers in the world return next week as the U.S. Women's Open comes to the International Research and Training Center in Arlington, Texas, next week at 8 p.m. Of last year's 12 finalists, 10 bowled collegiately, including your 2009 champion, Tammy Boomershine, who bowled at West Texas State University. And look at that list. Kelly Kulik, we saw from Morehead State, Tammy Boomershine, West Texas, Tim Carell-Kearney, an incredible career at San Jose State, where Linda Barnes, your wife, went. And a program that may be on its way back to national prominence. And that is a 2-4-10.
Well, it's just more of the same. You're just continually going by the head pin, not getting squared up enough on it. It's a pretty good shot. It crosses 11-12. That's the shot she's been trying to execute throughout the match. And if that shot's not going to hook and you're not going to move right, you have to throw the ball slower and give it time to make it back around and up to the pocket.
So she changes balls.
There's an 0-2 in there someplace. There's an H2O. It's 0-2 or 2? It's 2-0. What difference? I'm not a chemistry.
Going for it, has a chance. Wow, that was
One good shot,
maybe
right?
another inch or two, and not even. And she'll make that and give McHenry a huge lift, but now they're 29 down.
But you can see as it hits the left side of the 2 pin how close this was to hitting it. Goes right through basically where the 9 pin used to be, a little bit to the right of that. Missed it by about 8 inches at the back of the deck. This is really falling into Weber's lap. A couple of good shots here, they can bring this home.
Yeah, I'd like to be unhappy about a strike. No dance, Katie. Well, I shouldn't have. I spoke too soon. How about the range of emotions from to that?
Well, this is not a real good shot. As opposed, it's almost like Weber is watching McHenry's every shot, and every time they go light, that they help their shot and pull it to the left.
McHenry's max is 179. Weber is on a 188 pace. So Tina Young, senior, her final frame. And they desperately need a strike.
Good shot.
That's how you do it.
In the background last time, you heard the coach talking about 2-0s, and they finally made a big enough move to get it to the pocket.
And 2-0 means?
She moved 2 right with her feet, 0 with her eyes. It's surprising that it took that much of a move to actually get it to off of leaving the 2-pin, and it wasn't even flush even then.
Ashley Galante, who's been on a championship team before, the ITC title in 2008 when she anchored for Pikeville.
Trouble.
Well, that is trouble.
Come on now.
2-4, 6-10.
Let's go. They're lucky they're on a strike here where the count doesn't hurt them as much.
Make sure too.
But again, after the first 2 shots went left, this one's way to the right. Watch the head pin. She barely tips the head pin. Almost got a 5 count. And it's been that kind of day so far.
Goes to the Dragon for some help.
She's just going to go for 2 here. Get the count.
An experienced bowler, she knows. Now, a strikeout from McHenry gives them a 179, and that will force Weber to double and 6. That's, of course, if McHenry strikes out. And it'll be up to Lori Hankin. And she's dialing in her focus right now.
And we've seen a little bit of everything from Lori. She threw some great shots in the elimination match with Wichita State to get here, where she struck out all 3 times in the 10th. And then she had some get away from her too. See, she's taken that experience and going to apply it here.
In and no.
Good shot. Great shot, baby. Good shot.
So now 159 is the most McHenry can do. And all Weber will need, assuming that there's a spare and a strike, is just 6 pins from Haley Beavis.
Yes,
right, she does that. And to put any heat on Haley Beavis, she's got to put a strike in here.
Well, 6 pins and 2 shots, I'm afraid, is not going to be enough.
I think you've got to figure
Barring
Haley Beavis is going to.
Barring a foul or an injury.
Yeah.
Haley sprained an ankle last week, and then other than redoing that on the way to the foul line here.
Well, they're huddling in front of our location, Chris, and they've already got the smiles and a little bit of bounce up and down in their step as they listen to Coach Randy Stoughton. There you see him right there.
Come on, I know you want some, TJ. I know you want some.
Good shot, Lo. Good shot. Great shot.
Just a solid 4-pin left there, and they will finish with a 158. So just 5 for Haley Beavis. We asked her what the best part of college bowling is.
I love the adrenaline, like competing against other people, getting to know different people all across the world, basically.
You've got to go back to 1975 when Wichita State made their first appearance and won the championship to find a school that has done what Weber International has done. In their first appearance, they've won it. And you know, Chris, the ironic thing is they kind of played the McHenry style in this second game to do it. Weber International goes to the bench to give the thrill of competition to a few others, and they are the 2010 Intercollegiate Women's Champions, defeating McHenry in 2 straight. The turtle wasn't enough for McHenry. They just couldn't find the pocket enough times while Weber played a steady style to earn their first championship. The 2010 USBC Intercollegiate Team Championships on ESPN, brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of bowling. By Tony's Pizza, Tony's giving you more. And Bowl.com, your online source for all things bowling. Log on to Bowl.com today.
Brooklyn's were good to you, buddy. They really were. And you all made some tough spares that counted.
Yeah, we did.
You made some tough spares that counted. And the Brooklyn's carried.
Great sportsmanship to go with outstanding bowling, and Weber International is the champion here in El Paso. Stu Upton, the executive director of the USBC, gets to present the Helmer Cup. You know, you did it in Wichita. They know that cup well there, but now your first chance to present it to Weber.
Coach, congratulations on a great tournament and winning the 2010 USBC Intercollegiate Team Championship. I'm proud to offer you this Hellman Cup.
I'm proud to take it.
You guys did a great job. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it.
I know at times, Coach, it was a tough journey for you. Think back to where you were in January. Could you ever imagine this moment right now?
Not in January, no. But it was the goal that we started out to do. You get one chance to win a national championship in your first year, and that's what we did. And I will never, ever forget this as long as I live, nor will our team, nor will our school.
You know, the expectations are only going to get higher for you now. You going to repeat?
Sure.
There you go. See? That's how you handle expectations. Congratulations to you.
We got to go through them, though. That's what.
Well, you got to go through a lot of talented teams. Congratulations to your ladies, and congratulations to you, Coach. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Weber International, a first-time winner, joined here by the 10-time men's champions from Wichita State. The champions from the USBC Intercollegiate Team Championships, Weber International from Babson Park, Florida, and Wichita State from Wichita, Kansas. So congratulations to Wichita State Shockers and Weber International, winners of the 2010 USBC Intercollegiate Team Championships. For information on the 2011 Intercollegiate Championships, log on to the official website of bowlingbowl.com. And be sure to join us next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. for the live finals of the 2010 U.S. Women's Open from the USBC's International Training and Research Center in Arlington, Texas. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For my partner, Chris Barnes, and our sideline reporter, Linda Barnes, and our great crew, this is Dave Lamont saying so long from the El Paso Convention Center in El Paso, Texas.